Back in 2019, season 1 of The Promised Neverland aired and it was a huge success. Many people claimed it to be one of the best anime ever. It was even a nominee for Crunchyroll's 2019 Anime of the Year award, but lost to Demon Slayer season 1, which in my opinion was a robbery. Even if The Promised Neverland couldn't win, I don't know how Vinland Saga season 1 and Mob Psycho season 2 lost to Demon Slayer season 1. One of these three clearly should have won over Demon Slayer. Regardless, this show has gotten so much praise. Even the boss man himself, Moist Critical, had this to say.
And it was extraordinary. Promised Neverland Season 1 was absolutely spectacular. I see why it was Ludwig's favorite anime.
Season 1 was highly successful and left fans wanting more. 2 years later, we got Season 2 and my god was it the biggest disappointment ever. To put in perspective how much worse Season 2 was compared to Season 1, these are the My Anime List ratings for Season 1 and 2 of The Promised Neverland. Just look at the massive difference between both of these scores. This show went from being what many people considered the GOAT to absolute dog shit.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
But let's take a step back and look at both of these seasons individually, starting off with Season 1. And what made Season 1 loved by so many people is because it brought something new and fresh to the anime world. This anime takes place at a foster home located in some isolated, remote part of the world with no real interaction with the outside world. At first, this looks like a loving foster home, but we soon find out that it isn't a foster home, but a slaughterhouse. The kids that get sent off to their new adopted families aren't actually being adopted. Instead, they are shipped to demons that feast on humans. This foster home is designed to creating tasty humans for demons to devour. In other words, this foster home is a barn and the kids are barn animals. Now Emma, Ray, and Norman must find a way to safely escape the foster home while taking all of their foster siblings along with them. However, that's easier said than done because the foster mom, Isabella, does everything she can in her power to prevent these kids from leaving. What we see in this anime is a back and forth between the three kids and Mama. Both parties try to outsmart and counter each other's plans. It's like a chess game and this continues until the last episode of season 1. This anime has mystery, sci-fi, suspense, psychological, survival, and more. It's an incredibly unique anime like no other, and if you haven't watched season 1 of this show already, I highly recommend it. But I only recommend season 1 because while season 1 did everything right, season 2 did everything wrong. Season 2 was just pure garbage. First of all, season 2 didn't even adapt the manga. I believe the first 2 or 3 episodes of season 2 was based off the manga, but after that, season 2 decided to go anime original, meaning everything after episode 2 or 3 wasn't source material and it's something new everyone was seeing for the first time. And this is where the anime truly went downhill. The original story the anime has come up with was fucking ass. Many of the characters didn't feel like who they were from season 1. In fact, they felt like dumber, more naive, annoying, and overall worse versions of their previous selves. The villains were heavily underwhelming, especially when you compare to Isabella, who was a fantastic antagonist for season 1. Everything felt rushed, there were tons of plot holes, new characters introduced to us felt mid at best. I can go on, but the biggest disappointment was the ending. It wasn't even a disappointment, it felt more like disrespect, because they could have left this part out, but they decided to include it. It was like spitting in the face of all the anime fans, myself included, that decided to stay and watch this garbage till the very end. What did they do, you may ask? The ending of season 2 was just a PowerPoint presentation, and I mean that literally. They showed us screenshots of what happens after the final arc ends. So we see new characters, new setting, new creature, new things, time skips, etc. We see all of this with just screenshots. And then we get a time skip where years have passed and we were told to believe that everything happily ends. It's as if at least 3 arcs were summarized in a 2-minute PowerPoint presentation. If you're confused or taken back by what I just said, that's how we felt when we watched the ending. We didn't know what the fuck was going on, but we just sat there accepting defeat, that our beloved Promised Neverland was reduced to the biggest piece of dog shit ever. It is the biggest downgrade any anime has ever received. People might think One Punch Man season 2 is the worst downgrade, or 7 Deadly Sins season 3 and 4 is the worst downgrade. No, this is the god of anime downgrades. You can't get worse than this. However, in hindsight, after looking more into season 2, is it as bad as it really is? Now wait, hear me out. It is bad, but it's really bad because season 1 in comparison was phenomenal. But if you look at season 2 for what it is, it feels like another low to mid-tier shonen anime. I know I talked a lot of shit about season 2, but I would be lying if I said there weren't any interesting parts about it. There were times where I was interested in what I was watching, and there were times where we were shown something suspenseful, like a plot twist. Season 2 didn't feel like the sequel to Season 1. Season 2 felt like another anime and could have been its own standalone anime or maybe even a spin-off. And when you rank it like that, it's not as shit. So here are my final ratings. I give Season 1 a perfect 10 out of 10. If I'm rating Season 2 based off it as a sequel to Season 1, which many people do, I would give it a 4 out of 10. But if I'm ranking it as its own thing, then I would give it a 5.5 to a 6 out of 10. Honestly, it's not that much better. But overall, I would give The Promised Neverland as a whole a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10. Honestly, this anime deserves the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood treatment. It had so much potential to be a god tier anime, but they fumbled the bag so fucking hard, and I couldn't be disappointed any harder.